it going?
Long time no see.
Yes, it's been at least minutes. Minutes.
4 minutes.
Austin to San Diego. We're hitting it all.
What are the flashbacks going to be like this year now that we have a lot of characters from the land of untold stories?
They're gonna, episode 2, we're going to see Count of Monte Cristo. It will have a tie-in, we'll see to our beloved characters in the Enchanted Forest, but of course you can't introduce Jekyll and Hyde and not tell that story. So we're hoping,
I'll say also, it's not all Land of Untold Stories. Like there's a mix and match of different things we're doing. Unlike the last couple of seasons, we're not doing we're going to a new land and that's going to be where we are for the first half of the season. We're kind of in Storybrooke. The Land of Untold Story characters have arrived like we saw last year, and that is part of the story we're telling, but the arcs we're doing this season kind of touch on a bunch of different things.
I think what you're going to see is the paradigm of the show is these characters from the Land of Untold Stories have run away because they don't want their stories to play out. And so now that they're back in Storybrooke, they're going to play out. And so once again, you have Emma in the position of savior trying to help these people find their happiness, and the villain is, of course, we met Hyde, but there's another one out there that's far scarier, and her name is the Evil Queen. So we may find ourselves in a, Emma, Regina, Snow, Charmings against the Evil Queen trying to help people once again.
Will we explore why she didn't actually die when they crushed her heart?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And what happened to her, why the Evil Queen was able to come back.
Can she be destroyed? Can you cut off the darkness, or all the kind of philosophical?
Can you even really split the darkness out of yourself? All those are questions that we intend to explore.
So we saw that sneak peek that Aladdin is a savior, apparently.
Yes.
So what does it take to be a savior?
Well, I think for us, the very first thing that we're hoping is people realizes that Emma wasn't the first. And so once you realize Emma wasn't the first, then it makes you wonder, well, last year we learned about the Dark One mythology. Is this year we learn about the savior mythology? And the answer would be yes.
Maybe. The answer is
You've been
yes.
undercutting me all day. I'm out of here.
The answer is yes.
Will we find out who the original savior is?
That could be a perhaps.
No, perhaps. Now we're into the
that is a possibility. But one of the things that we're really excited is to last year, we saw Emma say to Hook, "I love you," when there was no problem, when there was no death. So she was able to let in those new emotions. And one of the things we want to get into this year is Jennifer Morrison as Emma Swan's head. What is it like to finally find your parents? What is it like to have the pressure of being the savior? What is it like to fight all those fights? And I think that the Aladdin thing kind of showed you what happens to the savior, right? He kind of gave him his giving tree son, his speech. We saw Jafar kind of say, all that's left is a stump. And so for us, we really want to explore for Emma to look at, is my job just helping other people? Do I get my own happiness? Does this happen to all saviors? And why would a savior, what do you mean I'm not the first?
So we can expect to see some parallels between Aladdin and how things could go for Emma?
I would say that, what we're going to do with Aladdin, we will slowly reveal, but it's certainly, I think, from the get-go, we're going to see that there might be some hints from that scene at the beginning to what Emma will be facing in the present.
Are they going to meet at some point? Is that possible?
I hope so. I hope so.
With this new, the Land of Untold Stories, there's a lot of new characters to explore. Would you say it's going to be more of like a season 1 and 2 feel?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the construction, the paradigm, even just back to the small town stories. We're very excited to see, Archie come back and Leroy, and we just really wanted to get back to Storybrooke and kind of tell those small town stories.
Yeah, I think that it felt like a very natural kind of progression, which is after the last couple of seasons of going to Neverland or Arendelle or Camelot that we wanted to be back in Storybrooke and really focusing on how all these events cumulatively have affected our characters. How, what does it mean for Snow and Charming now after all this, and now to see their daughter going through something potentially. All those things were really interesting to us, and then the characters from
Too dark.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rumpelstiltskin.
But the characters from the Untold Story are one piece of sort of the character puzzle of what's going on with all our main characters.
What themes are you exploring this season?
I'd say that,
I would. It's funny because I had exactly what the themes were in the room on Friday, and I was like, remember them. And now that I'm here, I think there's a few different themes. I think the biggest theme, of course, is can you really separate the good from the bad? Are we really able to say that we're all one thing or another? And I think we're going to see that going throughout. I think we're also going to kind of question, what is happiness and what is a happy ending? Is it just living your life, or is it one final moment with the end? And I think that's what we're going to explore, because we started the show off with Snow White being woken up with what was the end of her fairy tale. So we want to dive into a lot of maybe this is the happy ending, and we just actually have to start living it and stop fighting every monster that comes to town. We're gonna make Storybrooke great again. I keep saying that.
That's a good
I just
line.
love it. I just love it.
What's your collaboration process with the actors? Like, how much do you work with them on their storylines?
they do what we say.
No, the thing with this cast is the cast of Once Upon a Time, in our opinion, is the true star. And what's so great is you write one thing, but each one of those actors knows their role and their character so well that you really get this great combination where you collaborate. So we have an idea, they have an idea, and we kind of get it together. Or, we'll write something and then an actor will play it a different way than we thought, and then we'll start writing to that, and then it becomes this thing. So after 6 years, we have such a shorthand. It's like a basketball team when you can do the behind the pass look and you know where they are in the court. That's how I think we are as a team.
It's also, our job really, in terms of writing the show and kind of overseeing like the mythology and the storytelling and all that is so all-encompassing. It's really great. We have this cast that takes such ownership over each one of their roles that they all become kind of the guardians of who those characters are. So that when we write these stories and when we develop them, they have incredible insight now after years of playing them to really help us, kind of make it this one kind of unified thing.
Because when you write a script, the first time you write it through the perspective of every character. And what's great about these actors is there's a checks and balance. You know what I mean? Like they really know their characters really well. Cool.
Thank you.